All right, good morning, everyone. This is Tennis New York Giants Straight Talk, brought to you by the mighty FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com, the number one sportsbook in America. Got to talk about the Giants preseason game. I'm actually sending myself photos and video right now from the New York Giants preseason game. Listen, you know what? It is what it is. It's a loss, but who fucking cares? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't count in the stat sheet. There was some, that's what I said. There's the good, there's the bad, and there's the interesting. I'm not going to call it the ugly. Here, I got to send me these pictures, and I got video I got to send. I'm not calling it the ugly because it's preseason. There's nothing ugly about a preseason loss because it's a fucking preseason loss. There are some things that I'm not running the flag of concern yet by some of the things that I saw, like the run defense. Listen, the Minnesota Vikings are not known for playing their starters at all during preseason. Kevin O'Connell is not known for this. And we had on Matt Collar from Purple Insider, and if you didn't catch it, it's over on Bleav. It's a Bleav only exclusive. If you didn't catch it, go over and catch it. It was a great conversation about Kevin O'Connell, about the fact that he does not like playing his starters in preseason. He barely plays his starters in preseason. He played his starters for literally one series and then pulled everyone. And the Giants basically played their starting offense and most of the starting defense all the way towards the end of the first quarter, which is what John Harbaugh used to do outside of the last 3 seasons with Baltimore. And he kind of got, John Harbaugh has even admitted he's gotten away from it. His last 3 years in Baltimore is in reference to playing his starters, if sometimes if he even at all. But he played his starting offensive unit for almost the entire first quarter. We had the Jaxson Dart tent issue. So we're going to have to discuss that. We're going to have to discuss the run defense. We're going to have to discuss, listen, the OBJ thing. For the love of God, the Brandon Allen, everyone's like, first of all, everyone's like, OBJ was open twice and they didn't throw him the ball. Okay. The Brandon Allen throw would have been one of the best throws you had ever seen in an NFL preseason game to make that throw to get it out to OBJ. And if you watch the safety, and I love people because people don't play they don't play it at full speed. They play the video at half speed. They play it in slow motion. And they're like, look, the safety was flat-footed. Okay, you have to play it in real time. You would have made that pass. You would have hung that ball. OBJ might be in a body cast right now. So stop. And the other play wasn't even designed to go to him, but that's okay. We don't need to figure that shit out. Yeah, Deshaun, listen, we're going to talk about Dart in a minute. Let's get to everyone. Good morning, Brian. How you doing? What's up, Tim? Glad football is back. Let's see. We got what do we got? We got a lot of people in his house this morning. We got I want to just throw out a big shout out. Hold on, Jersey Guy. Let's see, Jersey Guy. On Friday, we for nearly 70 minutes in the live stream, nearly 60 viewers and only 3 likes. We can do better than this. Come on, smash the like button. I agree. Let's see. James Stein says, good morning, Tim. Hit the like button. And no 7 likes. Good morning, chat as well. WK says, good morning. It's a pleasure meeting you and Mrs. Online Big Blue yesterday. Perfect football weather at MetLife. I want to thank all the people we met yesterday. You know, it was a fantastic day, and meeting WK and his wife was phenomenal. Like I said, it's part of the reason why I do this is so we can talk to other Giant fans, and it was a great conversation. It was a pleasure to meet, and I hope you and your wife, and I Bleav you were mentioning it was your wife's very first football game, or NFL game. So I hope you really enjoyed yourself, because it was a good day. It was a good day to be out there. It was a good day to have some fun, and it was just a great day. James Simon says, I heard the Giants lost to the Vikings 13-10. Tim, does this mean we're toast for the year? Am I hitting the panic button too soon? I love the pass to Fields in the end zone. Hated the missed walk from Tracy. Hard to blame Tracy. I think the play was called for a different screen. Listen, if we want to talk about anything today about Jaxson Dart, it's going to be about Jaxson Dart's footwork. That's plain and simple what it's going to be. Now, the crazy person that I am, I'm taking tons of photographs of Jaxson Dart and his footwork. And the reason why I'm doing this is because of the fact that, and I'm doing it before the game. I'm not doing it during the game because it's more difficult at times during the game. And I got to take these pictures. I got to download all these pictures. It's more difficult at times because honestly, if you look at the passes that he had, there were some issues with the footwork. And one of the things that's bothering me about Jaxson Dart a little bit now, and it actually bothered me since the combine, he's got this, and it was hard to say because the offensive line at points times or not. I got a little thing on my top. What I got that thing on the bottom of my hat. It's bugging me. Get this thing off. It's hanging out there. It's bugging me. Now my hair is bugging me. My hair is a mess. But one of the things that bugged me about Jaxson Dart is a couple of his throws, and it was same as last year. He didn't almost every play that Jaxson Dart set up under center was a run. Every shotgun was a pass. Now I don't know if that was by design. I don't know. I'm just pointing out what I saw from the game. But he's got this thing still where he takes the ball and it's almost like he's not using the lower half of his body and he kind of whips it. And I'm looking at it, and he's got that 3/4 throwing motion. He doesn't even get into his stance. He kind of just whips the ball. And he just seems to be using the top of his body. Now, when you watched in warmups, and I'm going to have to download these files again. When you watch in warmups, his stance was totally different from when he went into the game. Now, I'm curious to see if that's going to change because, like I said, he only got a limited amount of preseason snaps. So I'm curious to see because he looked more like an NFL quarterback when he was on the sidelines early throwing. And this was right before the game. So let's go to the first image. If you take a look at let's see. Can I get the first image up? Hold on. I can't get the first image. What the fuck's going on here? What's going on here, people? Hold on. Where come? Oh, there he goes. Okay. So you take a look at the first warm-up. He's come back in the stance. He's still a little wide. He's still almost armpit to shoulder length from his bottom. So his base. So he's almost got the right base. Which when I saw that, I was like, okay. Now if we watch him go, and let's take this one off. Oh, can I add another one? Hold on, wait a minute. Can I do this? This is professional. Let's go here. Let's go to this image file. Let's go to the next one. Let's go from when he was going back into his stance. So let's see if we can, it takes a little while to load here. So here we go. This is him getting back into his stance. You still see it. He's got a little bit of a bounce. And then, like I said, then he gets finally flat footed. So let's go even further here. Let me see if I got the other ones. Oh, here we go. That's the other one. That's the setup. So we need this one right here. We need 74-19. And we're also going to show footage from inside the game. So let's show, and this, like I said, this is before he started. This is on the sidelines, actually before the opening series. What did I say? That was 74-19? Okay. So let's go to 74-19. Come on, 74-19. Load up. All right, here we go. 74-19. Now let me take that comment off. There you go. He's going back into his stance. His feet, if you take a look, are still parallel. He still looks good. And then if you go to right here, you could see he's got a little bit of hop, but he still has got good shoulder length, armpit. You know, he's making the little pyramid, and then you watch him break into his stance. Okay. I was like, and I watched this for a good 4 or 5 minutes before he went out on that first series. So I like that. I said, okay, you're going back. You know, you're going back. You're setting up right. And then all of a sudden, you're in a good stance. So I was looking at it like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. But then you get into the game, and it's almost like at times this just went out the window. And I laugh because it could also be just the fact that, you know, he did not get an opportunity because there was some poor play at times on the offensive line and some pressure that he didn't get the opportunity to show this. Now let's get into a video here. Let's open up this video. I'm not sure. Right here. I think this is the pass play to Tracy, which made no fucking sense. We're sitting there, he's waiting, know what he needs to do. Here we go. I gotta go back with it. Now this spin pirouette. Oh man, this is a play. This is a play that he probably should have checked out of. If you take a look at it defensively, I probably would have checked out of this play. Take a look at where number 90 is. Take a look about how his left, take a look at how the left tackle is set up. He's already looking over to that sideline. More than likely, a seasoned NFL quarterback checks out of that play because look where 90 is already. If you didn't feel the presence from 90 on the blitz, did not have an understanding that 90 was going to come at you, and take a look at where he's at. He is already pre-committed Jaxson Dart as to the throw to Tyrone Tracy. He's already committed to it. He's almost like listen, it was a poorly designed play. It was a poorly executed play by the offense. But when you are the starting quarterback and you already see number 90, not with his hand in the dirt, number 90 is just standing there. He is standing there. You got your left tackle just standing there as well. Excuse me, right tackle. He's standing there as well. And so all of a sudden, as soon as you hit this play, you can see he's blitzed. The 90's already fucking leaning forward. So maybe you check out, and then you're like, well, Tim, he didn't have time to check out. Well, let's continuously see the play. He has time to check out. And I understand it's preseason, but as soon as you hit that ball, as soon as that ball is a bad snap, the snap goes out to the far side of his. If anything, if I take that type of snap, if you're an NFL quarterback, what do you think you would do? Would you still pirouette, or would you basically call a misdirection on your own and run to the left? Instead, he tries to pirouette, and there's 90 sitting right there. That is so beyond dangerous at that point in time that you kind of cringe a little, because you're like, okay, you see 90 is there. You see you're going to have to go around him. That could potentially be an interception or a turnover, but you still try to make the throw to Tyrone Tracy. You are literally a step away from him picking that off and taking it for 6. That's not even the worst play of Jaxson Dart. I'm not even going to show the sack. We take a look at the sack, because the sack itself, when we saw the sack, it was Marcus Golston destroying Daniel Jones 6 years ago. That's the first thing I thought of when Marcus Golston went over the Arizona Cardinals and Daniel Jones did not even see him. This guy, first of all, somebody missed an assignment, because you should not have a defender that wide open to your quarterback. But your quarterback, who is athletic, who has ability to make plays with his feet, should have had the opportunity to at least spin out of that play, but he didn't even sense it. He didn't even feel the play. Now I'm trying to see if I have a couple other plays here I want to show as well. I want to see which one this is. Let's see here. Hold on. This is 1920. I want to make sure I want to send this one, because this is another play that bothered me a little bit. And like I said, it's preseason. It's preseason whatsoever. This was the sack. This was the first sack. This is good footage of the first sack, because of the fact that he did not look comfortable on the set. You could see the defensive back coming in, looks like he was going to blitz, and Jaxson Dart didn't even seem to sense it. Now listen, the Malachi Fields throw was a fucking phenomenal throw in the end zone. I mean, that was a throw that if you watch it over and over again, you're like, okay, well, this guy has got, there's a little chops here, because of the fact that was a good improvised play. Let's remove this from the stage and let's go put this video back. Let's put up 72. Let's go video 72. Here we go. Here's the sack from this is the first sack. Okay, now look, you're watching it. Now, like I said, I always watch the defensive line. You see 90, he creeped up, but then he went back. So you got to figure, okay, 90 looks like he's more setting up for the run than he is going to come in as a rush. So you look at that, and all of a sudden you see him again. Now you see William Jackson on the play, but then you see the safety come up. What do you think is going to be the play? Do you think that they are, or do you think they are basically just using the safety as a decoy, or do you think they're going to bring the blitz? Now, you got to remember, Brian Flores likes to blitz his corners, likes to blitz his safety. So Jaxson Dart, if you look where he's looking. He's looking to the left side of the field. He's not really looking over to the right side of the field where the safety is. And he still has not turned his head and looked off the defender. And here we go right there. Bad block. Spins out. We take a look. He spins out. In which direction? So do you think, like I said, the pocket's already collapsing on him. What is he doing? He spins back into the middle of the field and into the sack. Okay. At this point in time, we're watching this as Giant fans, and we're kind of like, all right, we're kind of getting a little, we're trying to get a little, not disgusted by Jaxson Dart, but we're looking at this and we're like, okay, this is not what we want to see from our second-year quarterback, because once again, I'm not seeing any proper footwork. I'm not seeing any proper technique. Let me see. Is this another? I think this is a completed pass. Let me get to this video here. I think this was good. No, this was bad. I know I should have did this beforehand, but I didn't. I don't have the completed pass one. But there was a couple of them that he had a nice completed pass. He actually stayed in the pocket. He looked good. Footwork looked clean. He looked consistent. He looked concise. On the play to Malachi Fields, great play in the corner of the end zone. Improvised it, moved it all along, did what he needed to do. Perfect. Not perfect execution, because the play was not perfectly executed. I don't think that happens in the regular season, because you were already against the second and third team defense with the Vikings. So, I mean, there was some good with Jaxson Dart. There was some bad with Jaxson Dart. There was some things that shook your head with Jaxson Dart. And like I said, just the fact that if we watch this play again, I just want to show this play one last time. Let's see. I just want to show. Let's see. Can I get this one on here? Add this. That was the fact. Let's go back and look at the fact. And again, look, he's not even looking at number 90. He's not checking off his defender. He's looking solely to the one side. He looks over for a second right there. He sees 90. He goes back, looks down, he's calling his cadence. He does not see. Again, he's looking at 90, but again, as soon as he turns his head, what does the defender do? He creeps. We're going to creep. He creeps up. Again, he doesn't check back. And like I said, he does not see the rush coming from that side. He only sees the rush coming from the interior. He doesn't see the rush coming from the exterior. Again, that's going to be a little bit more difficult to deal with inside a regular season game. And like I said, if we take a look at this, look, you could tell, like I said, you could tell that he's working on his footwork. He's got a good bounce. He's got shoulder length. He's shoulder and armpit length. He's setting up quick in the stance. He set up quick, and he made a nice throw on the sideline. Again, this is all before the game started. But like what worried me is after this, everything kind of just went to shit. Everything just kind of went downhill in reference to his footwork. But it was his ability to improvise that made him that made the Giants offense move. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on. Mike Lee says, almost forgot they moved the game to 3-1. I think it was due to the Yankee game at 3. Usually the game's at 4. I was very surprised they had it at 1. The way the Giants treated him, they were looking for a coach, which became Dable. Oh, okay, about that. WK says, also, you realize the Vikings played all their starters besides, I believe, 2 to 3 players. The Vikings played all the starters the first series. Then everyone was out. Because like I said, Kevin O'Connell is not a guy that likes to play a starter. Sunday blessings, Tim. Thank you, my brother. Mike Lee says the run defense to me was a bit worrisome, but you haven't seen it yet with Brian Burns and Reeder and Edmonds out. That's the other thing. Listen, off tackle, Abdul Carter played. Arvell Reese played, and actually he flowed to the ball nicely. I give Arvell Reese credit. He actually flowed to the ball extremely well at times. I would just like to see him make those tackles a little closer to the line of scrimmage than 3, 4, 7 yards deep into the second level. But again, like I said, it's a rookie. He's just a rookie. It's okay. And it's preseason. I believe the little things all the Giants fans didn't like yesterday will be cleaned up. I have this feeling you're right. like I said, I'm not going to. That's why I didn't call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. I called it the good, the bad, and the interesting, because there was some interesting things. Listen, Eric Gray. Can we just, for the love of God, stop the Eric Gray experiment? Can we just stop it? Eric Gray running against third, fourth teamers and Home Depoters is still the same Eric Gray that he has been since the moment that he got here. Can we just, for the love of God, stop the Eric Gray experiment? I know. I mean, sorry, I got the background. So I was trying to pull up something here. Can we? I'm trying to find the. Let me get the box score here, because I looked at Eric Gray. I looked at the running game outside of Cam Scatterbo. What is going on? I don't care about ESPN. Outside of the few runs by Cam Scatterbo, the run defense was the second, third, and fourth team run defense was terrible. Eric Gray, 8 carries for 20 yards, 2.5 yards. His longest run was 4 yards. Cam Scatterbo, 4 for 19. His longest run was 7. Dante Miller, 4 for 15. Longest run was 5 for 2.8. You had Damian Braxton, who had 3 carries for 6 yards. I mean, the run, you ran the ball 27 times for 70 yards compared to the Vikings running the ball 27 times for 111. Again, it's preseason. After the first quarter, when the Giants pulled everyone, and the Vikings had already pulled everyone off after the first quarter, I'm just looking at it as it is what it is. The fact that they at one point in time seemed to me trying to force feed Odell Beckham, Odell Beckham, yes, feed him the ball, I thought was kind of a disservice. I understand they were doing it for the crowd. You had Braxton, who actually had 2 nice punt returns. I Bleav he had 2. I think he had 2 punt returns I think he averaged 2 for 30, and I think he averaged 15 yards, and he had 15 yards on both of them. So that was interesting to see. Dante Miller actually returned some kicks. He actually had 3 kickoff returns for 23 yards. Banks had the 1 for 27. Banks at times did not look good in coverage. Colton Hood did play, and he did play early, and he did play often. He had 3 tackles. He had 1 play which was reviewed on the first series that was definitely a catch, but he overran the coverage. And again, it's his first NFL game. He's a rookie. He's probably pumped up, but he overran the coverage because he ended up ahead of the guy when the guy came back with the ball. And I loved it because I was watching it. I was sitting there with this online Big Blue, like, he overran the coverage. But that's all right. It's okay. You can overrun the coverage when it's your first game as a rookie. Get those butterflies out. Jack Kelly had a total of 5 tackles. He had 2 solo and 3 assists. He looked good at times, but he also got exposed a little bit against the third and fourth team defense. So Jack Kelly's going to be what he's going to be. I still think he's going to be if he makes the team, it's going to be as a designated pass rusher. It's going to be as a special teamer. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, he was drafted at a BYU in the 6th round because that's what the league thought of him. But like I said, there's definitely room for Jack Kelly, even go what you're seeing through training camp. Like I said, the first preseason game is not the end all be all. I keep trying to explain that to people. It's not the end all be all. And for everyone that is so enamored with Darius Alexander, good sack. He had a good sack, looked good. Did not look good against the run. You have to remember they were ripping the Giants' run defense early and often on those first 2 series, and that's with the guys that were the first guys. I mean, you take a look at it: run for 4, run for 15, run for 1, run for 5. They were moving the ball at times, and it was just kind of like, hey, listen, you know what? We've seen this before. Don't just continuously run that shit off tackle because that's what we're going to have. But like I said, we're still shoring shit up in preseason. So it's all good. I've seen the overreaction from people so much online and on X the last couple days. I'm just like, motherfuckers, it's just preseason. Relax. I kept telling people, listen, just enjoy yourself. It's a beautiful day. The weather is gorgeous. Everything looks spectacular. It was a little hot because it was 90 plus degrees, but we were there just to enjoy the football game, just to have a good time. Everyone just needed to relax a little bit. You saw some good things. You saw some bad things. I like what I saw out of Malachi Fields. Not just because of the touchdown, but because, again, like I said, I don't just watch the highlights. I watch the entire plays. He had three receptions. He looked good. He looked like Malachi Fields, even against the second teamers, looked like an NFL player, looked like an NFL wide receiver. He had 3 receptions for 34 yards of 11 yards reception. And of course, the touchdown. He came back for that pass in the corner of the end zone. You watch the play, he came back for it. He saw and this is what I loved about Malachi Fields on that play. Not the fact that he caught the touchdown, because the catching the touchdown was great. He saw his quarterback was in duress. So what does Malachi Fields do? He came back to the ball. He came back to the quarterback. He made himself available. He broke off his route and made himself available for his quarterback. You got to love that for a rookie. You have to love that for a rookie. Isaiah Likely had a couple receptions too. He looked good early. I love it because one person today, the other day, and I don't have the stupid Twitter post, was like, "You don't know anything about football. Isaiah Likely's not fast. He only ran a 4.8 at the combine." I had to try to explain to him there's a difference between speed and football speed. Jerry Rice literally just finished last week his 40 from his pro day. But how many people drag down Jerry Rice from behind? There is a difference. There are plenty of guys that were burners in this league that couldn't get away from anybody. We had a couple on this team. Couldn't get away from anybody. There is a difference between speed and football speed. Isaiah Likely I'm not saying Isaiah Likely's Jerry Rice, but I'm saying he has football speed. You watch him and it's like, there's no way he should get away from this guy, and he's already scored the touchdown. You know, I always go back to Ronaldo Nehemiah for any of the old timers that remember him. Olympic sprinter, signed on with the 49ers. Couldn't catch the ball, but he couldn't get away from anyone. And he was at that point in time one of the fastest humans on the planet. There's a difference between being a player, being an athlete, and being a football player. Isaiah Likely's a football player. If I also take a look if there was anything else, like I said, I'm not upset with Brandon Allen, 5 for 8 and the 2 interceptions. I'm not sitting there going to tell you that he should have made that throw. Like I said, we already talked about the OBJ throw. Watch, not you guys, because you guys are all intelligent. Watch the play in full speed. Don't slow it down. Don't put it half speed. Don't put it in slow motion and sit there and tell me, well, the safety's flat-footed. He never would have got there. Watch it at full speed. Please, for the love of God. It'll make your life a hell of a lot easier. It'll make you feel a hell of a lot better about yourself. Watch the motherfucking shit at full speed. He makes that throw. It would have been a brilliant throw by Allen, and he would have gotten OBJ killed. It was a smart throw not to make. So give him, so like I said, there are certain plays, there are decoy plays, there are dummy plays. And I'm not saying that was a dummy or a decoy play. All I'm just saying is this: do you really want to see OBJ turn into a train wreck just so he could catch it, just so they could throw him a deep pass? And you could sit there and say, well, he was open. Oh my God, sometimes my head fucking hurts. Mike Lee says, I think they will play in the Miami game, so we'll have a better gauge. You know what I'm thinking? I think they go, I'm just guessing. I personally think they go full half Miami. Starters, both sides, offensive, defense. I don't know about Miami. It's going to be Miami only played their starting offense one series against Washington, and Washington played like 4 starters or 3 starters. And I'm not going to say anything about Washington because Sonny Styles they actually have him as a green dot guy. Sonny Styles did not look good in his pro debut at times. But that's nothing. Like I said, it's his first fucking game, so I'm not going to get worried about it. Arvell Reese looked good, but he's also making tackles 7 yards downfield instead of more closer to the line of scrimmage. But that is what it is. It's not Arvell Reese's fault. I think they have the joint practice on Thursday. I'm going to be there on Thursday in Miami, and we're going to cover the joint practice. So we're actually going to have some film from a non-beat reporter who's going to tell you what this joint practice. I'm very excited to see what this joint practice is going to be, what they're going to look like, and I could see the Giants playing their starters into the end of the second quarter. And like I said, that's just a guess on my part. WKC also McFadden with the missed tackle in the backfield. Yeah, McFadden does. You listen, WK, you're not wrong. And I'm not mad at McFadden either, because McFadden just does what McFadden does. He looks good on certain plays. This is a guy that's got a career 13%. Oh, I shouldn't rephrase that. That's inaccurate. 12.9% missed tackle percentage for 12.9% missed tackle percentage for his entire career. That's what he does. He looks good at times. And also the guy's coming back from a major injury. It's major enough that he missed the season. So, like I said, I'm not worried about McFadden. I'm not worried about McFadden. I'm not worried about the defense yet. What do we got? OBJ doesn't look as washed up as you've been saying. Really? How were his 2 catches for 6 yards? Braxton had a catch. Braxton actually returned 2 kicks, 2 punts, and averaged 15 yards. He was 2 for 30. Unless Malik Neighbors unless OBJ does something spectacular. Because again, you're one of these guys that looks at the film and goes, he should have caught that. I should have thrown him the ball. You're probably one of those guys. You would have gotten him fucking wrecked. I only know this because I was sitting on the 50. I was sitting on the 50, 20 seats up. But you would have got him wrecked. Just so you could be like, look, he still got it. Yeah, it been great. He still got it from the fucking hospital bed.
That's what she said.
Mike Lee said, but is anyone surprised McFadden missing the tackles? We have seen it halt. Yeah, I'm not. That's fine. Allen lost the game, but ho-hum. Yeah, Brandon Allen's the 3rd string quarterback for a reason. So many people want to throw the baby out with the bathwater because someone had a bad preseason game. So that means we got to get rid of Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, 8 for 9. Yeah, 89 yards. Took a sack. What did he do, though? What did he do that was so spectacular? He also ran the ball for 2 yards and 2 carries for only 3 yards, so we should get rid of him. I'm being facetious. I'm not making fun of you, Michael. You know I'm just being facetious. What's up, Spy Smasher? OBJ deserves a rough spot. He was not open every fucking time. Some of you people have to get your heads out of your asses quickly, because it's kind of disconcerting, and it's the reason why the Giant fan base, portion of the Giant fan base, gets voted the stupidest fan base in the league. Just because a guy, first of all, when a guy is that wide open, more than likely the play's not designed to go that way. And the other pass, like I said, for Brandon Allen, you watch the whole play at full speed. Don't sit there with your little clicker and go, look, he's open. This is Madden. What's up, Mr. Perry? BS on the 10 issue from Dart. No, it's not a BS issue. The guy got wrecked. Fucking Dart got wrecked. At one point in time, we weren't sure he was going to get up. Again, you guys only see what you see on TV. When you're sitting there in the stands, it's a different story. You heard that hit. He didn't see that hit. He was down and not moving for a good 6-7 seconds. And then all of a sudden you saw a life. You're like, oh, God, he's alive. It's like he's alive. Yeah, no, that's protocol. Has nothing to, and that's why I laugh with people again. Has nothing to do with Jaxson Dart. You just took a vicious shot, a clean shot, an unencumbered defender took a running shot at your quarterback. Yes, you need to go into the tent. That is, and also because we don't need Jaxson Dart to even be somewhat concussed and then come back into the game, because you're not winning games in August. Games are won in September. It's not that he didn't look good. It's just he didn't look like he had come along as much with his footwork as we talked about. He was still 3 for 4. My issue with Dart was outside of the play to Malachi Fields, he looked tentative. There were a couple throws where he held on to the ball too long. And like I said, I can't tell you this on 4 pass attempts, how much his footwork is improved, because like I said, we saw his footwork before the game. We saw it before. We've shown it before. He goes back. He's moving into his stance. He's setting up quick. He's shoulder to armpit length. He's got a good looking stance there, and he threw the ball nice. And again, like I said, this is on the sidelines, but he threw the ball nice. But it's when he got into the game, everything just kind of went. But again, that's games, and I can't blame the kid because that's game scenario. You can't work perfectly on your footwork if you are under duress. And like I said, it was interesting that every time Jaxson Dart lined up under center, it was a run. Soon as he goes into shotgun, it's a pass. And I'm not sitting there saying that's a pattern yet, because it was a limited series. They did play most the first quarter. Jameis Winston came in on a couple of the plays, but that's all right. That's all right. Like I said, I cannot tell you yet what that is. I can't sit there and tell you in concern. I'm getting to everyone in the chat, but I see a super chat. Oh, super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Let's see what what do we got here? Scorpio Handle says on the touchdown pass from Dart, that was against the starters that would have been picked off, but Fields needs looks good. What is Austin and Mooney? Austin and Mooney didn't really get into the game. I don't even think they played. But here's the thing. To your point on the touchdown pass, more than likely against their starters, you're 100% right. More than likely against their starters, that's not a touchdown. But you have to look at the play as its whole. Jaxson Dart scrambled, broke containment, avoided the sack, was still looking downfield, had a nice on the run throw. And one of the things I loved about Malachi Fields, and I think you might have missed it because we talked about this earlier, one of the things that I liked about Malachi Fields is he broke off his route and he came back to his quarterback. That's something you can't teach. That's football ingrained. You cannot teach that. And that's one of the things I loved about that. He came back, he broke off his route and came back. You can't teach that. That's a football play. I think that might be on your end, brother, because I have multiple monitors that I check to make sure I'm still working. But you can't teach that. And like I said, I think you're going to see a lot different team. You're going to see a little bit better. You're going to see a little bit more enthusiasm. You're going to see a little bit more of your starters next Saturday. And that game is going to be 4:00 in Miami. But to your point, like I said, I like the fact that he came back to the ball, Malachi Fields, and that is a football play that you cannot teach, in my opinion. Darius Washington looked pretty good. Darius Washington looked pretty good against nobody. That's the problem. They didn't play anybody. They played everyone their first series. Kevin O'Connell is very strict about that. Like I said, when we had Matt Collar from Purple Insider on last week, he even said he would be shocked if his starters went more than the first series, and they didn't. They only played the one series, which is what he does. So we kind of go there. Tim Carter, there we go. Guy with all world speed, OG burner, 100% right. Greg says Likely and Fields are going to be great red zone weapons. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you have some weapons for the red zone. You now have, like I said, the play. If you take a look, if you truly are honest about the Jaxson Dart scramble, the Jaxson Dart play on that touchdown, it was a cluster. If we're being honest, protection broke down almost immediately. He scrambled. He got himself out. One of the things I liked about it was while he got himself out of the pocket, he was still somewhat parallel to the pocket. And at that time, he was still looking downfield. Daniel Jones never would have made that throw. Daniel Jones never would have made that play. Daniel Jones never would have escaped the pocket. He like I said, we had the blitz on the corner that he didn't see, but he felt the rush. He moved somewhat parallel to the pocket, which means he's still looking downfield, and he threw a good pass. He threw a pass that the only person that could catch that pass would have been Malachi Fields. And Malachi Fields, like I said, broke off his route and came back to the ball, came back to his quarterback. That's what you want your guy to do. And yeah, the play was kind of a cluster, but sometimes cluster plays are the ones that get you the touchdowns. And we should be more excited the fact that Malachi Fields as a rookie. And listen, if you go to Notre Dame, and this is true and false in some regards, but if you go to Notre Dame, you're more than likely an intelligent player because you have to be a smart guy to get into Notre Dame. That's why I love when people are like, well, how smart can that guy be? He only went to Notre Dame. Well, you still have to meet. Notre Dame has academic standards that are higher than any university that you have to meet before you can get into Notre Dame. So he's a smart guy. And he was a smart football enough guy to understand my quarterback's in duress. I'm breaking off my route and I'm coming back to the play. So I enjoy that. Alan says definitely made some shady bets on the Mighty FanDuel. FanDuel.com, #1 sports book in America. Let me see here. Oh, soaring wings. Our backup corners are burnt toast as well. The only backups that look good to play on my birds were Trotter Jr., Bell, and Willie Lampkin. Yeah, I mean, it's the Storm. The Storm and Norman. Mormon, I know, but I like Storm and Norman. That's actually a pretty good nickname. I like Jack Kelly, the Storm and Mormon. I like Jack Kelly. Like I said, Jack Kelly, he didn't look great. He's playing against the fourth teamers and Home Depoters, but he made the tackles that were in front of him. He made his assignments, and that's what you want from a rookie, from a late round draft choice rookie. Is Copzilla a friend of the show? No. Saw Judy Batista on the sideline, and I didn't say hello because I didn't want to. Because it's one of those things that because she was also running to go to get on the NFL Network, so I didn't want to stop her and say hello. I didn't want to stop her and bug her. Because I've always especially and then she sat right down and got on the air. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to bug her though. But, it was, like I said, it was just good to be back at the stadium. It was good to be back on the sidelines. It was good to be back hanging out. I really enjoyed the day. I got to see a lot of people, which was exciting because, it's just one of those things. And, I wish more people would have went to the game. If you want me to be honest, there was not a lot of people there. There was a lot of people coming in late. But there was really not a lot of people at the game. And I would like to have seen it more. What do we got here? All right, let me go back up again. Let me see here. I got to get more towards the top of the chat because I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Oh, we also got the other super fan from Scorpion because that's what we do. Tim, does Dart audible play and negate all the line ships? Does Dart? What's funny about Dart navigate? Here's the thing with Dart. And that's actually a really good question because if you look at the limited amount of time, like I said, he only dropped back, 7 times, 8 times. So it was kind of hard to say, but like I said, on this play here, let me see. This is a play that, like I said, he probably should have looked at this a little bit differently, but let's get into the one with the bad pass to Tyrone Tracy, because that should have been an audible. He should have tried to audible out of that play almost immediately. Let me see if I can't get that video file again. I think it was this one right here. Let's pull this one up. This is a play he should have audibled out of. Like you said, you see, take a look. You see 90 standing. You see, look at his feet. And this is one of the things they always tell you, especially as a player, as an NFL quarterback, as anyone. Look at the opponent's feet, because a lot of times the feet are giving you away. His entire body motion is leaning forward. which normally would tell you what, and Jaxson Dart's staring right at him. And here we go. Again, what is he doing? He is leaning forward. He is a defensive lineman who is not going to drop back into coverage. More than likely, he's coming and he's bringing the heat. And there he goes. He's leaning deeper in. Jaxson Dart looks the other way, doesn't check him off. And then again, he looks back at him, and you have to say, okay, this motherfucker's probably coming out. I'm probably going to check out of this play. Because the way this offensive lineman is against this defensive lineman, this play looked dead from the moment that it was conceived. And this, like I said, this is from sitting in the stands 20 rows up. It was almost the point you were like, this, you should. I was even telling the wife, he probably should check out. What does he do? I thought he looked over to Tracy. I thought he was calling an audible for a second, but evidently it turned out he didn't, because what does he do? He hikes the ball, spins. Who's standing right in front of him? You should have known that's where the guy was coming. And then you're going to try to spin and throw the throw around him. This is a throw that you bail on. This is a throw that at that point in time, I'm seeing the defender standing right there. I bail on this pass because, look, you just got it around him. This is a regular season game. I'm not sure you get that around him. And then, like I said, then you're throwing it backwards. You got number 7 coming up. You hope to God Tyrone Tracy doesn't get his hands on it. Because what's going to happen if he gets his hands on it or touches it or catches it? He's got 2 defenders right there. That is a play that I probably would have audibled out of. And I remember sitting there in the stands looking at that play from the beginning and say they should audible. They should check. I even said they should check out of this play. But again, like I said, it's preseason. We're working on everything. And Jack Attack is right. Off tackle left, off tackle right. But again, like I said, it's only the first preseason game. It was only the first series and the first quarter. There was good things to like when you saw in the first quarter. There was bad things that you liked. There was good and bad against the fact that I would like to have seen the Giants offense being more dominant after Minnesota basically pulled everyone after the first drive. I would have liked to have seen that. I would like to have seen the defense step up a little bit more against J.J. McCarthy. There was a couple passes that if it wasn't J.J. McCarthy, if it was an actual NFL quarterback, if it wasn't a Make-A-Wish kid, that probably would have been completed. Because J.J. McCarthy missed some throws. Missed some big throws. Listen, you think Brandon Allen's bad? I'm watching J.J. McCarthy, and I'm like, thank the Lord we did not take this guy. 4 for 7 for 34 yards and a sack. And that was the Darius Alexander sack. So it was the only sack of the game. I was like, I was so glad we didn't take this motherfucker. Because he was so putrid at times, and he missed. And that first drive, he missed 2 first downs. And I mean, he missed. And I was like, thank God. Thank God that didn't happen. But like I said, it is what it is. It's fucking preseason. I'm not gonna get overly, upset about it. It's all good. Dylan says, I still remember the starters went into the third quarter preseason games. Teams would actually come out ready to rock week 1. Less injuries back then, doing pre-2010 era-ish. Dylan, you're right. When we had 4 preseason games, there was actually 5 preseason games. Well, we used to have 4. You would play the starters in like the first 2 series. Preseason game 2, you would play them the entire first quarter into the second. Preseason game 3, you would play them the entire half. And it's interesting that with the new CBA, that there are not less lower extremity injuries in preseason right now than there had been before they made the changes in the CBA. But in the first 3 weeks of the season, there are actually more lower extremity injuries the first 2 weeks of the season than there has ever been pre-2010-ish. So it's a fact that I don't understand how the NFL avoids that fact. Make sure you're hitting the like button, please. It would be greatly appreciated. I'm enjoying everyone that's enjoying us today. We've got 30 something likes. Let's get to 50 likes. Let's get to 50. But you are 100% right. Let's see here. Tim Carter. Yeah, Tim Carter. Let's see. Juan, what's up, big Juan? Giants need to have a tall target like Fields since Plaxico's person, money 2 more years. You're right. It's yes, remember, yeah, but Willie Gault actually had a 1,000-yard season, had a couple 1,000-yard seasons, and he won a Super Bowl. So we got to think of it this way. What does TT says? Who was the guy who was a burner a few years ago, drafted by the Bengals? Oh yeah, it was John Ross. It was Mr. Glass. John Ross would break when he broke wind. But yeah, he was a burner. He was just another guy that couldn't get open or catch the ball at times. Mike Lee says, I don't recall football games being played on half speed. Yeah, that's the only thing that really bugs the shit out of me. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You get the keyboard warriors that go on X and all these things, and they're like, Odell Beckham, greatest Giant. He was wide open because I played it in slow motion and the safety's foot were flat. It's like, okay, well, I was only there. I only saw the play. And if you watch it in full speed, Brandon Allen would have to have made a hellacious throw. And that's not a throw Brandon Allen can make. And if you hang that shit up there, you were going to get OBJ killed. So, and just also remember this. Sometimes when a player is wide open, the play is not designated to go that way. Soaring Eagles. Dard was pissed that he had to go into the tent, but after the corner blitz, note to Dard, stopping, getting absolutely rocked, then you won't have to hang out in the blue tent. Listen, it's NFL rules. It's NFL policy. It's fine. You get rocked, you got to go into the tent. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and tell you he didn't, he shouldn't have gone into the tent. Would you rather not protect and this is what I don't get. Would you rather not protect your quarterback during preseason? Do you want the quarterback do you want your quarterback to be there in September? Who the fuck cares that he went in the tent to play? I don't get it. It's like he went into the tent for a couple plays. Jameis Winston came in. He comes back and he throws a touchdown. What's the fucking problem? And people are like, well, they're just doing that because of last year. Yeah. Because he had 2 concussions last year, probably a third. Yes, they're called protecting the player from themselves and the coaching staff. Because listen, first of all, John Harbaugh is not going to pull a Brian Dable and violate NFL rules and run into the tent. But you are protecting the player sometimes from himself in preseason. I had no problem with that. I don't get people with this problem with him going into the tent. You get rocked on a wide open defender who took a running shot at your quarterback, unblocked, which someone missed a fucking assignment, gets rocked, lays on the turf for a good 5-6 seconds before he even moves. Yeah, he should go into the tent. Oh, it's not the crazy pills.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I like Fields, B. Will says. He reminds me of Big Plax in the red zone. They are both from Virginia, though. He doesn't remind me of Plax. I understand your comparison because of their size. Him and Plax are 2 different players. But it was nice. It was a great play. And like I said, I'm more impressed with the fact that he broke off his route and came back to the quarterback than I was with the touchdown catch. Because this is preseason. That touchdown means shit. But what meant so much more to me is Malachi Fields came back to the ball, came back to his quarterback, saw his quarterback was in duress, broke off his route in the end zone, and came back to the play. You haven't really seen that a lot with Giant wide receivers over the last 5 years. It was a smart football play. It was. And you got to give him all the props in the world for that. Does that play occur if you're playing against the first team Minnesota defense with Brian Flores and not his 3rd and 4th teamers and Home Depot? No, that probably doesn't happen. But the fact that Malachi Fields came back and broke off his route and came back to his quarterback and gave his quarterback the option or the ability to make that throw or attempt that throw, I got to give it a big thumbs up. James Williams joint practice. No, James, it's Cheek and Chong in football. We got to see James and his buddy. It was a great time. It was a fun time. You will trigger slider if you say Fields and Plex in the same comment. I think I expect us to beat up on the Dolphins. I don't know. Miami actually looked good. I'm curious to see what's for Achung is probably going to play. That rookie wide receiver looks actually pretty good in Miami. Malik Willis looked really good yesterday on Friday. I'm curious to see what happens at the joint. I am very curious about this joint practice. I am. And if I wanted to place a bet on that game, I know where I'd go. I'd go to FanDuel. It's Mighty FanDuel, the number one sports book in America. And I would go right now to the FanDuel, and I would go to I'm going to go to the preseason here games, and let's see if I can't figure out what the odds are. Go to more NFL because I would be curious to see with the Giants playing the Miami Dolphins in Miami at 4:00. Let's see the Giants and Miami. Let's see here. They don't have them posted yet, so we're gonna have to wait and see that. But let's see if the Giants Super Bowl odds fell at all in reference to that preseason loss. They were at plus 6,000 last week. They're at plus 6,500. So actually, they came down a little bit to the Commanders level, who are also at plus 6,500. Steelers are still plus 5,500. You have the Falcons at plus 7,500, and the New Orleans Saints at plus 8,000. Carolina Panthers, who made the playoffs last year with a losing record, right now are at plus 10,000 to not only make the playoffs, but Super Bowl and win. I'm still taking that Miami bet at plus 100,000 to not only make the Super Bowl, but win it. Did Abdul Carter's stock drop at all for potential defensive player of the year? He was already at, which I still don't understand. Abdul Carter's at plus 4,000. Brian Burns is at plus 3,300. I don't agree with that. I think Brian Burns should be around plus 2,500. Abdul Carter should be around. All right, I'm back. No, we lost internet. We didn't freeze. We lost the freaking internet during the FanDuel commercial. That's FanDuel.com, the number one sportsbook in America. The whole thing just froze. We must be getting it looks like we're getting a storm here in the mighty PA. So you guys just got to give me a minute here. I had to switch internet, and now I'm looking at this. I can't even get logged back in. I got like 40 fucking commercials here I got to log back into. Let's see. We're back now. Okay, we're back now. Yeah, we lost internet for a second, though. We lost it all for a second. But we're back because, again, we're talking about the mighty FanDuel, FanDuel.com, the number one sportsbook in America. Right now, the New York Giants, like I said, we still haven't gotten the point spread, but they are about a plus 6,500, again, to make the Super Bowl. Not only make the Super Bowl, but go into the Super Bowl. And I find it interesting that, like I said, that the Carolina Panthers dropped exponentially, even though they made the playoffs with a losing record in a weak division. But like I said, and Abdul Carter is still at plus 3,300 to not only make and win the defensive play. No, he's at 4,000, plus 4,000. Brian Burns is at plus 3,300, which I find interesting because there's a lot of players that have more of a resume than Abdul Carter that are below Abdul Carter. But that all can be found on the mighty FanDuel. It's FanDuel.com. Make sure you go to Sportsbook. Make sure you can play the casino games. They also have the racebook. They also have FanDuel TV. They got the fantasy. FanDuel's got everything. That's FanDuel.com, the number one sports book in America. David said Fields did not come back to the play, for God's sakes. He ran underneath a broken. Yes, that's called coming back. That's called, I did watch the play. Listen, first of all, David, there's what they tell you and what's on the play. He did come back to the play. It was a broken fucking play. They could tell you anything they want. Watch this. The sky is green. What and broke deep. What do you think breaking deep and breaking? Oh, you know what, David?
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
I'm not going to deal with stupid people today. I'm just not going to deal with stupid people today. Because I am too excited about this Giant football season that people, you're going to say, he broke deep. He broke his route. What the fuck do you think? Nope. Not going to do it because it's a beautiful Sunday, except for the fact it looks like we're going to have some torrential rain. We're not getting into that. Option Trader says, the next game, my daughter gets a corporate luxury box. If you, whoops. Yeah, oh, here we go, Tim. Next game, my daughter gets a corporate luxury box. If you're at the game, I'll reach out to you earlier. Come by and say hello. I appreciate that. I'm frozen, but I'm back. Hello again. Let's see here. Could you see the stash through Jacob Rodriguez's face mask? Listen, it's just the way it is. David says, I know it's just preseason, but the fact they could still stop the edge rush run worries me. David, listen, I'm going to tell you this. It's preseason, man. It's preseason. Don't worry about it. Like I said, I'm not worried about anything right now. I'm not worried about anything off 12 plays. I can't. I'm not going to sit here and pump up and blow smoke up people's asses for how good someone was or how bad someone looked, because it's 12 plays. You're really looking at maybe 12. If you're looking at it in its totality with the starters, you're probably looking at between truly with all the starters, and not all the starters were even in. You didn't see Tremaine Edmonds. You didn't see Brian Burns. You're probably looking at a whole solid 12 plays out of the whole game. There's usually 60. So I can't break down 12 plays and tell you this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer like some idiots who I just kicked out because he's a fucking moron, that this person's going to be spectacular. This person's going to be terrible. I can't tell you after 12 plays because I don't know. Abdul Carter looked to be Abdul Carter did not play well against. He did not rush well. He had a couple pass rushes, but again, like I said, against the starting unit early. But again, it's all right. I'm not going to sit here and worry about it. I can't. I'll give me a little bit better understanding and idea when I get into the joint practice in Miami. Let's see here. Good morning, Tim. I had my daughter reach out on Twitter at the start of the fourth quarter, but yeah, we had left a little early. We had some things to do after the game, but we let spies. Where the slider says again, Fields is a Plaxico guy. We just caught a touchdown. You're right. Here we go. He said Dart said he appreciated protecting the players from the 10. I think he sees more 10 appearances than around the league. Crazy process, crazy thought about that. Don't get rocked. You don't want to go on the 10? Don't get steamrollered by a corner. I love when people tell me shit that weren't even fucking there. That didn't happen. I'm sorry, I was just there. I was just watching the whole game. And the play wasn't even designed to go. It's the idiocy and the stupidity of a segment of our fan base that I will never forgive. And I blame the internet. Back in the 90s and the early 90s, back in the 90s, we blamed video games. It's all video. In the 80s, it was rock music and music videos. 90s and early 2000s, it's the internet. It's video games. I blame the internet for the stupidity of the world. What's up, Mike Lee? That's because he had the Smurf playing for wide receiver the last few years. Trader Option said I should have reached out during halftime when the Pop Warner kids were playing. No, it's all right, brother. We were actually enjoying ourselves. Halftime. We were enjoying ourselves with the air conditioning. Sliders says Carter's defensive player of the year, a player that's situational pass rusher. That's a good one. Hey, listen, it is what it is. My internet will break. I'm back, Jersey guy. What's up, brother? I'm back. Yes, he's back. Shit, I thought, Tim, the sky was red. Thanks for letting me know. Prince says Joe Shane is messing with Tim's internet. Oh my God. And can we stop with, for the love of God? And I wish people would get off this thing about making trades. About we are going to get this guy. We are going to make a trade for this guy. We are getting Christian Gonzalez. That's who we're getting. We're going to make a trade for Christian Gonzalez. Want to know why? Because I heard it on a video by a person who knows nothing that we are going to get Christian Gonzalez from the Patriots. Witherspoon just signed a 4-year, $132 million extension, which includes $101 million guaranteed. To me, that is the floor for Christian Gonzalez. And I love it because people are like, you know what, he's working hard, he's conditioning, but he's not ready to practice yet. He's been an active participant in practice before suffering an injury. I think it was last week. He's 24 years old. He to me, Witherspoon's $33 million is the benchmark. If you are giving Witherspoon $33 million, what are you giving Gonzalez? Are you giving Gonzalez 40? Because I think Gonzalez is a much better player than Devin Witherspoon. So for the love of God, please stop with, we are trading for, and I saw it on Twitter. I saw it on some idiot made a YouTube video about it. We are not trading for Christian. I think it was Kid Blue. We're not trading for Christian Gonzalez. Yes, we are going to trade 2 first round. We are going to make a Bo Callahan trade and trade 3 first round picks for Christian Gonzalez, and then give him $150 million, probably over 4, even though we have $10 million in cap space. For the love of God, stop. How do you think the O-line did overall? Not great. Big Francis, the biggest thing I could say, a nice thing I could say about him is you didn't hear his name called. But there were some plays that you kind of looked at it and you were like, yeah, no. But again, we're talking a handful of plays. Let's get to Miami. I'm going to be in Miami on Wednesday. Practice is Thursday. I will cover the whole practice from soup to nuts on Thursday. It's a joint practice. So we're going to get an idea against live competition, not players that we have seen play repeatedly. We're going to get a better idea of the level of talent. And like I said, a lot of times you can really see the level of talent, the disparaging, not disparaging, but you're going to see the difference in talent. We always go back to the Joe Judge day against Cleveland. You could see Cleveland was a much better team than the Giants, and they proved it not only to the 2-day joint practices, but during the preseason game that Saturday. So we're going to see at what state the Giants starters are against the Miami starters. How far down the pike is Miami to being even a 5-win team, and how far above are the Giants from being a 7 to 9-win team? That's when we're going to start getting some ideas. David says that's reassuring, honestly. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's what we tried to do here. I don't know what it is with Nagy, Callahan combo. I don't see it working. Well, Nagy calls the plays. Nagy's going to call your plays. It's not. People are like, well, I don't see it working together. It's not working together. Nagy is going to call the plays. Nagy is running the offense. You have Bo Callahan basically as your quarterback coach and passing coordinator. So Nagy's going to call the plays. Now, where you may get into a little bit of a rub,
that's what she said,
is if Nagy offense is not working and you have Greg Rome and Callahan both right there. But I don't see Harbaugh. I don't see Harbaugh allowing that to happen. I don't see Harbaugh sitting there and saying, this is this. And I don't see that with Harbaugh. I don't see that at all. because I don't see Harbaugh allowing something that like Dable did with the likes of with Wink and his coaches as the offense was basically against the offense and the defense was basically against the defense. I don't see that happening. But I'm also just saying the fact that we have to look at this from the right perspective. It's early. I can't get overly excited about anything yet, guys. I mean, I can't get overly depressed about anything because, like I said, it's preseason. Abdul Carr, you looked useless yesterday. I was there. That was a broken play. Tim, you're spot on. Yeah, you're right. You were there. You probably had a better vantage point than I did because you were watching it from a suite. Sometimes you don't get to see but I like where I sit because we sit almost directly on the 50, directly on the logo, 20 rows up. So you really get a great view of the whole stadium, of the whole field. And you really can see everything. When you watch a game and it's interesting because when you watch a game on television, you can't see everything. You don't see the entire play. It's a wonderful thing to watch. And like I said, I'm honored at times to be able to sit where I got to sit and see the game from the perspective that I get to see it from. That's why I sometimes get aggravated for people that watch shit and watch highlights and listen to people. And they're like, you weren't even fucking there. How can you judge and assess anything by watching on television? Because you don't see about 70% of what's going on when you're watching a game on television compared to when you're at the stadium. And it's not a disservice for people that can't go to the games because some people live in California, some people live in Texas, some people live in Oklahoma. You can't go to the giant game. You got to watch it on television. That's just the way it is. But I hate when people tell me I don't see something when I'm sitting there watching it. I'm there between the TV timeouts. I see the totality of the defense, way people are set. I see the play from its total environment. We had an asthma issue. We had some asthma issues, so we had to check out a little early. I blame the Russians. Me too. Slider says when your quarterback is lying there and your defense blitz goes through unprotected and gets rocked, your quarterback doesn't get up. Yeah, you might be concerned he's concussed. Literally watching the guy lay on the turf. And it was scarier there because the motherfucker wasn't moving at one point. For a good 3 to 5 seconds, he wasn't moving. And I remember looking at Mrs. Online Big Blue saying, we're fucked. I say, we're in a lot of trouble. You don't see replays. TV does a good job.
But that's okay. Remember, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
And I'm just joking with you, brother. I'm just joking with you, brother. There's these big TVs. All throughout the stadium that replay the plays right after the play. And they're really cool because they're huge. You know, you got the 100-inch TVs. These are like, 10,000-inch TVs. And they replay the play directly after the play. Sometimes like 6 or 7 times. I love you, brother. That made me laugh. Thank you. I needed that. That made me laugh a little bit. Yes, they replay the plays at the stadium. It's great. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's like if you had King Kong's living room, that would be King Kong's television. And they replay the plays directly after each plays. And then sometimes they replay it like 6 or 7 times. And the best part is sometimes they replay it from the wide angle. So you see the whole play. Oh, I actually needed that. I thank you, brother. I did need that. I needed a good chuckle. Slider said, whoever says trade for this guy, as a guy, I guess you were what? No, I think it was Kid Blue that someone sent me the clip. I didn't watch it, but I was like, how you're Devin Witherspoon, who I think is an excellent player, got 4 years, $132 million. Yeah. So what is Christian Gonzalez gonna get? I'm just asking for a friend. And he got 101 million guaranteed. I think Christian Gonzalez is a better corner from Devin Witherspoon, but that's not the disparaging thing to Devin Witherspoon. Mike Lee says, of course, we give up nothing and have monopoly money to cover the salary cap. Yeah. Guys, when these guys are on and go in the tent, it's not all that bad. Maybe you're getting s'mores in the tent. That was a hot day. I don't know if I want s'mores. Listen, you go into the tent. It's because and most of the time you go, if the on-fields officials do not send you to the tent, the call comes in from New York. Which is interesting because we're in New Jersey and the call comes from the NFL offices in New York. And they will then tell you, send that player to the tent. They have physicians that watch the game that will tell you, send number 6 to the tent. It has nothing to do with Jaxson Dart. It has nothing to do with Jaxson Dart's concussion history. It has to do with the fact that you had a wide open defender take a running shot at a quarterback who did not see him. And then he got plowed into. That's why he went to the tent. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's a protection of the players. And I get it. As a former player, I can tell you firsthand, and sometimes you don't. This is some people what some people don't get. And back in my day, it was called getting your bell rung because you hear ringing. You literally hear ringing, and sometimes you literally hear what feels like in your head like a bell, like a dong, 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 and that's why they said you got your bell rung. Usually when that happens, it means you are probably concussed. But back in my day, they gave you the proverbial walk it off. Rub some dirt on it. I always loved that one. Walk it off. I remember twisting my ankle and having my ankle swell up so much in the cleat and so much in the socks that you could feel it. You can almost see it like pouring over the shoe. And I remember being told, walk it off. And of course, you're a stupid kid. So you're like, oh, all right, fine. But then I'm thinking to myself as I got older, I can't walk. How am I going to proverbially walk something off when I can't walk? Just throwing out there. Bo Callahan, let's trade 3 first-rounders for him. Let's get Christian Gonzalez right now. Let's give him the $50 million a year he's probably going to get because Witherspoon got almost 40. Yeah, that'll work out just fine. I hope we improve. We're going to improve. It's preseason. Nobody's panicking. It's literally preseason. Is someone not home? Because the dog is going, are you home? Let's see. What do we got? Jerseys, guys. Thank you for the detailed analyst of week 1 preseason. I'm serious. Much appreciated. Well, you're very much appreciated. Social interaction is enjoyable as well. I appreciate it too. Let's see. Your Spy Smasher says, can't trade for Gonzalez. We were already trading for Vita Vea. Vita Vea looks like he may be going to the Bears. I keep hearing. Mr. Rogers says, good morning, Tim. In Dart to make the offense better once the kid improves his footwork and vision with the game, could at least win 7 games. I'm still saying we're winning 7 games this year. And out of his 8 dropbacks, or 6 dropbacks, how many it was, I don't remember. I can't judge his footwork. I wish I could. We showed the stills from him warming up, and his footwork looked good. His footwork looked good. He was shoulders, feet, armpits, parallel, looked good. Look good going back in the stance. It's this 3/4 whip motion with his upper body that kind of weirds me out a little bit. Listen, Patrick Mahomes Does not look like a classic NFL passer. Drew Brees was one. Tom Brady was one. If you want the definition of a pocket passer who looks the part, who looks like an NFL, now good player, not great player, but go back and watch Drew Bledsoe. If you wanted the definition of a drop back in the pocket, statuesque, perfect form passer, look at Drew Bledsoe. Now, the results didn't pan out to what the results should have panned out with Drew Bledsoe. It was still a good player, but that's a guy. Tom Brady, if you want to look at a technically proficient NFL quarterback who passes, you look at him. You look at Tom Brady. But again, like I said, for every Tom Brady, there's a Patrick Mahomes. There's a Lamar Jackson. There's a Josh Allen. But it's this 3/4 using only my upper body whipping motion on his throw. I don't get at times. But I can't sit there because of the rush, because of the duress he was under at times. I can't look at there was a play, and I'm trying to find the play where he actually had a completion, and it was a good in the pocket pass. I think it's one of these I would have to zoom in completely on. What the heck is that? What is that? Oh, thank you. What is this? I got it. This is online, Big Blue. I don't know what the hell this is, but I love it. It's a squeaky toy. Hold on, guys. Where'd it go? Listen, if you throw this, I am gonna chase after it. What is this? This is funny. I like this. It's a wake up dog. Oh, it is a dog toy. Thank you, Mrs. Online Big Blue. I actually like this. This is going to go in the background. It's going to go with Bo Winkle. That's how we wake up in the morning here. We have squeaky toys. Like I said, just squeak and I will run after it. Yeah, I forgot where I was at now. Oh, yeah, but there was the one play where he actually set up nice, looked downfield, and was an actual pocket passer, which I loved. Everyone says, WK says, hello, Mrs. Online Big Blue. I got a sandwich. Didn't really get to eat this morning. What's up, Big One? I need to remember, brother. This team will be better. The fact that Harbaugh is disciplined and cut the fat, and we'll move into the right direction. Listen, this team is going to go in the right direction, guys. It was a preseason loss to the Minnesota Vikings in August. Okay? I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this for the people that are over-exaggerating every play, over-evaluating every play, over-analyzing every play. It's a preseason game in August against the Minnesota Vikings, who only ran their ones for a series. That's it. That's all it is. You want to get a better understanding. You want to get a better acknowledgement. You want to have more fun. It's fine. But this is what I'm telling you. None of this matters. At the end of the day, it's about getting your young guys reps. It's about seeing what you have on the back end of the roster and seeing who can be a player. Because I don't want to be a player no more. I just crush a lot. That's actually really good coffee today. The stadium went dead silent. I don't think people understand. There was not a large crowd in the stadium, but the stadium went dead silent because everyone thought Jaxson Dart was dead. I don't think people understand the ferociousness of that hit and how he basically had just a clean shot at your starting quarterback. I don't people think they fully comprehend, the people that weren't in the audience, what we thought while we were there. Because for, like I said, for a good 3 to 5 seconds, he didn't move. He didn't move at all. He laid there as he got wrecked. And it was like the fact that if you looked at it from that perspective, yeah, we all, there was this massive collective sigh of relief in the stands when he got up. Because we, at one point in time, and Option Trader can tell you, because he probably had a better vantage point than I did, we weren't sure we weren't sure at one point in time that motherfucker was getting up. So, yes, it was prudent on the NFL to pull him out of the game. Oh, yeah, Tracy can't forget. Missed a block that went wide. Yeah, and got Dart killed. Yeah. But again, like I said, Juan says, we will be better in the running game than a lot of people give us credit for. It's a decent group of running backs. Tracy needs to improve his blocking, though. Tracy and Cam Scatterbo need to improve their blocking. And I don't want to hear, well, that's what we have Patrick Ricard for, because Patrick Ricard only plays in about a third of the offensive snaps the last 3 years. So so there are going to be times. It was nice to see. You know what? If you want to say anything about preseason, it was nice to see Cam Scatterbo run the ball. 4 carries, 19 yards, 4.8, and the longest run of 7. It was nice to see him run. Because I never want to see Eric Gray run the ball again. 8 for 20 for 2.5. Or Dante Miller, 5 for 14, 2.8. Or Braxton, 3 for 6 for 2. For the love of God. I was looking at them running the ball like, you are literally playing against the Home Depot team. Giants look good on the punting. We had 3 punt. What's his name? Had 3 punts inside the 20. Long of 60. Ben Salas 1 for 1. We didn't get to see the rookie. But like I said, we're gonna get more time. Replay. What's that? Yeah, they got these big TVs. It's great. It's like being in King Kong's living room. Play's over. They replay the play. And they'll replay it from like 6 different angles. Kid Blue is weird. Yeah, when you're 50 and your name is Kid Blue. I don't know. Christian Gonzalez. I think Christian Gonzalez is going to make like 40, 50. You're right. Option Trader says those Jumbotrons are massive, and there's 4 of them. I really enjoyed my first game at the stadium in the suite. Listen, you're in the suite. That's the greatest point ever to be. Let's see here. Let's see. Tracy used to be a wide receiver before he converted over. Next year, we will need him to be running. Yeah, Tracy was a wide receiver coming out of college. He basically he became more of a running back towards the end of his college tenure because of the fact that he knew that's what he was going to be in the pros. So Tracy, it's his 3rd year. He does not know all the nuances of a running back, which is fine. What are you going to be honest with? All right, be real with me, Jake. If all the injuries clear up and everyone is healthy, they could be really strong in games. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Jake. It's still a 7-win team. And that's not a disparagement, because you won 7 games over 2 years. You literally won 7 games in 2 years. So you come up with 7 wins this season against the schedule we're up, and the schedule gods, because of the rotating schedule. It's not the NFL trying to. I always love it. It's the NFL trying to screw the Giants. It's called a fucking rotating schedule. They rotate the schedule. But they're a 7-win team right now. Maybe. Because we don't know what team is going to be better on that list. We don't think the team's going to be worse. We don't know what injuries are going to happen. We don't know injuries the Giants could have. We don't know what moves the Giants are going to make. Is what it is. But I think they're going to be and like I said, the first game is not an indication. I think they're going to be a well-balanced team. If anything, they're going to be a better coach team, and they're going to have to clean up the mistakes, and Jaxson Dart is going to have to play within himself. And he's going to stop. You don't want to take away the things that Jaxson Dart does well, but you also don't want to put him in places and situations where he's going to get himself killed. So there's going to be this, we're going to have to find this weird kind of balance. Don't forget to hit the like button. I don't even know how many likes we have, but don't forget to hit the like button. If you could, that would be. There we go. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, that's all it's going to be. Allen is worse than Tommy. Listen, Brandon Allen is a third string. Brandon Allen's your third string quarterback for a reason. I love all the people that are upset with Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen's probably going to be on the practice squad, if even that. John Harbaugh has this propensity of grabbing young quarterbacks later in the rounds. He didn't do that this year, but he's got this propensity of doing that. So John Harbaugh is probably going to get enamored with somebody, once cut downs happen, that he is going to bring someone else in. So everyone upset about Brandon Allen, I don't get. He's probably not even going to be here. It's like worrying about something that's not going to happen. Oh my God. Let's see here. Slider said there's a dude who watched TV, sees it, the point of view, and there is a big difference when someone is watching it who's at the game. Yeah, I know. It is what it is. Spice Pastor says they need to have some UFC referees at Dean send Dart to the tent. Slider, I've done both. Been to a lot of games per watching at home over someone's house. Then I will always watch a game from the stadium. If you truly want to see a game from the perspective that it is supposed to be watched, there is no better view than the stadium. Baseball, you can watch at home and get all the nuances. Basketball, you could do the same thing because they give you most of the court. If you're watching an NFL game, you're basically watching this. That's what you're watching. And Neil, when you're at the stadium, you're seeing this. You're watching this at home, relying on replay, and then you're seeing this. Geez, I wish Tommy DeVito was still our number 3. I have to look for it. And then I'm going to have to read the comment again. Should be around here, though. I think I might have deleted Jersey Shore Tommy. What's funny? Tommy DeVito actually has better footwork than Jaxson Dart. But here we go. But Tommy DeVito's got that elongated pitcher's motion. Hold on, we're going to do this again. Slider says, I've done both. I've been to a lot of games. What do we got here? Says, I wish Tommy DeVito was still on number 3. Jersey Shore Tommy.
Wait for the beat to drop.
Brain's still rattling. If Drew Barrymore married Drew Bledsoe, they must be Drew Bledsoe. Oh my God. Okay, that was a little hilarious. Number 3 on the depth chart. Everyone's just so like he missed Odell Beckham, man. Cut him. That's a throw Brandon Allen can't make. That's a throw that could potentially be a hospital ball and get OBJ killed in preseason. But he should have made the throw. Okay. What's up, Mrs. Online Big Blue? From the Jersey guys. OBB Squad says, good morning, all. Don't forget to hit that like button. There's Mrs. OBB. Enjoyed the game with Mrs. OBB yesterday. I didn't realize how late it was. I haven't eaten anything. Am I frozen again? Did I brick again? Some idiot named Mike, something was bitching that our quarter the OBJ was open. Lol, too funny. Listen, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys anything that you don't already know because most of the people that watch this show are I'm bricked. I bricked again. You're intelligent fans. So I'm not gonna. Why do I have internet issues today? There we go. I was gonna change the internet. I might have to change the internet again, but that's all right. It's one of those things. I'm gonna keep saying it over and over again. You see half the play in the stands, and I love it when people slow down the play and go, "He's the safety." I always love it because this is the thing I saw. The safety was flat-footed. People forget that there are other players in the NFL who can run. I don't know. And to your point, like I said, if he would have thrown that ball, he more than likely would have gotten OBJ killed. And then people are like, well, he should have made. No, Brandon Allen can't make that throw. Not a lot of quarterbacks outside of Mahomes, Allen, Jaxson, Burrows, even Herbert can make that throw. But there are people out there that are like, well, he needed to throw the ball because OBJ was open. Look at the quarterback, look at the situation, then come back to me and talk to me later. Mr. Perry says the Giants always had a tough schedule ever since I've been watching. It's just a rotating schedule. It has nothing to do with it. Howard Cross reported the wind was knocked out of Dart. Not much more or less. Well, Howard Cross, listen, for the people that were there, they will tell you. We were concerned whether he was getting up. And it doesn't matter what Howard Cross thinks because Howard Cross isn't responsible for the well-being and medical for players. And we're not big Howard Cross fans. Howard Cross got mad at James Williams. They canceled. They used to do post-game analysis. If you're in the coaches club, they do a pre-game show with usually some former players. And then they used to do a post-game show in the coaches club. That actually they actually stopped doing it after a day, once when we were there with James Williams. The time we were there with James Williams, after that, they stopped doing the post-game shows because it got ugly. I'm just going to tell you, it got ugly. And people remember because it was the Minnesota Vikings. It was funny because actually it was the Minnesota Vikings game. Now that I think about it. It was after the big throw. But they stopped doing the post game in the coaches club after that game. Well, Slider says, yeah, regardless, Jersey guy, he needs to be checked for concussion. Yeah, you have to be checked for concussion. At the game, the stadium when saw it looked faster and worse in person. Everyone thought Dart was done for the season. He didn't move for what seemed like forever. We thought, yeah. Why should we listen to people that were there? It did. It didn't seem like he was getting up. And it seemed like you're right. I think everyone in the stadium thought for a second and everything was over. Including preseason, Dart has visited the blue tent 40% of the time, which is concerning. I don't know where you got that number. I don't know if that number is true or false. WK says they were playing against the Home Depot. It's from ZipRecruiter. Hey-o, wearing their John Archer shirts. Great chance we get to adding new players before the season starts. Your preference, cornerback or defensive tackle? Mr. Calzone. It's too early. Running back is probably one of my preferences. I would like to see cornerbacks, and I think we're fine at defensive tackle position, and I would like to see a true defensive end. But at this point in time, like I said, we're going to bring guys. I've always told everyone this, don't get enamored with whoever is 50 to 53 on the roster. Don't get enamored with them. Because more likely they're going to end up they're going to end up on the practice squad, or they're going to end up just being cut, because usually the final 3 spots are usually taken by guys you've never even heard of that were on other teams that the Giants want to bring in. WK says, nothing with the NFL football. This is at the stadium. All the fans, the atmosphere is cheering, and the camaraderie. I mean, that sums it up, WK, man. That sums it up. It's being there. It's talking football with everyone. I was joking with Mrs. OBB. We need next time we're going to get a ticker. So people that want to talk, take a number. I mean, that's what it is. It's just being out there. It's being with the fans. It's being with everyone there. It's, you're all in the same mind like that because you're all there to watch the Giants. And I will always say there is nothing. The only true game that you cannot watch on television, get every single nuance, is football. And I don't know, maybe soccer, but nobody cares about soccer. Because like I said, you watch a football game at home, this is what you see. This is it. This is what you see right here. At the game, you see this. And then you see this on the screen. And then you have to rely on television to single out certain sections of the replay where you can then watch the whole play. And as I was joking with Neil, is the fact that they have these big monitors. So that you then see the play after it happened. And it's what's really nice about it is a lot of times they will show you the overview angle. They'll show you different angles. And sometimes they'll show different angles on different monitors, and there's 6 of them. So you still get the different perspectives. I'm in Fork River and stay away from Seaside and Jersey Shore. I grew up in the Jersey Shore. Williams says it's hard to evaluate the bottom of the roster with quarterback play like that. Winston's going to have to play more snaps. You're right. Look at Brandon Allen's a camp. Right now, Brandon Allen's a camp arm. I'm surprised they don't have multiple Brandon Allens because he's a fucking camp arm in my mind. So him not making a bad throw to potentially get a guy that you want to see at the back end of the roster in OBJ, I'm not going to be upset. I can't be upset with that. You're okay, Tim, concerning the stream from the last few minutes. Yeah, something's going on here with my internet, though. I think it's the weather. This isn't always a tough schedule when you're a bad team. Good. That's a great way to put it. That's a brilliant way to put it. Yeah, you guys fuck up everything. They're so fucking stupid. I don't know what we're talking about, but yeah, most of us grasped when Dart went down and curled up. And what do you think if that was the season and injury to the Giants? Rock with Winston and get a number 2. Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Jameis Winston, nice guy. My wife likes Jameis Winston now because he was on the sideline, high-fiving everyone to talk to everyone. So, we got to see Jameis Winston. So she's like, oh, who's that? I like him. He's very friendly. Like that's Jameis Winston. So, but if I'm relying on Jameis Winston to quarterback this team for 17 weeks, I will be scouting scouting Mr. Sims over in Texas. The moment that happens, I'm going to be scouting Mr. Sims out of Texas. We're going to do a whole show then. Let's see here. James is a terrific computer. I don't know where James is. I miss James too. James, I think, is sleeping. James had a rough day. Fuck what the schedule is. Your NFL teams play the games that you're in front. That's it, WK. You play the games that are in front of you. I always love when people bitch about the schedule. Well, they have the hardest schedule in the league. They got the worst schedule in the league. Well, sometimes it's just the way you are divisionally. Sometimes if you are in the worst division in football, I'm not looking at you, Carolina Panthers, your games are probably easier. And it's a rotating schedule. You rotate between the conferences. That's all it is. The NFL does not sit there and designate and plan games individually. They rotate conferences. But if you are in a piss poor conference, yes, your conference games are going to be easier. If you're in like the NFC East and you have to play the Cowboys and the Eagles, that's 4 games right there out of your 17, which are probably going to be difficult immediately before the schedule makers look at the other conference matchups. That's all. I thought Dart was dead too. I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, oh my God, they killed Kenny. And I'm sitting there going, you bastard. Exactly, WK. And tailgating. Mike Lee says, gonna get a picture with Willis on Thursday. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing, but am I excited that I'm going to Miami and I'm going to go hang out at the Dolphins facility after the practice? I'm not saying nothing. I'm very excited. I'm going to get to go into the locker room. I'm going to get to go on the field. I'm going to get to hang out. This is going to be a whole day. So I have a feeling there may be a Malik Willis visit. Fingers crossed. Let's see here. And leg drop to the injury. Let's see here. Clearly, you were not on the Vikings home opener in 2024 when they took the stadium to the fourth. Yeah, I was there. I was there. I was there. We clearly you were wrong. Because there's James and I in the suite with the mimosas, waiting to have a most brilliant time. They fumble. Giants score. We're playing against the venerable Sam Darnold. And then I always tell people by 1:14, our fucking day was ruined. But for 14 minutes during the game and leading up to kickoff, it was a brilliant opening day. One of the best opening days ever. Let's see, what has Greg said? I wish I could go to games. I'm on the western part of Kentucky, and the van probably will make it. Well, that's a pretty long ride. I don't fly, so stuck with you. Listen, I'm saying this. There's nothing against not going to the games. I get that because a lot of people, it's like you live in Kentucky. I wouldn't expect people to go to Kentucky from Kentucky. I'm an hour and 47 minutes away by car. And I go because of the fact that I just enjoy going to the games. I enjoy hanging out. I enjoy hanging out with the wife. I enjoy hanging out with everyone that's in the stadium. It's fun. I get to see a lot of people from the show, and it's great because you get to sit there and you get to talk football. Don't forget to hit the like button. Let's get up to at least 75 likes before we knock off today. I get to see everyone I get to see James Williams. I get to see, everyone else. So I just, like I said, it's something that I enjoy doing. It's a great thing that it's not every weekend. I used to go to Yankee games and pass $5 to a ticket taker and watch the game from, you used to be able to standing room section. You used to be able to do it. You can't do that anymore. Now they'll probably arrest you and throw you in fucking jail. Let's see. I'm not trying to do it myself. What do we also got here? Great beer, good scotch and vodka. I got a nice present from WK. I got a great present from WK, and it's funny though because I'll tell you. I'll tell you because I told him not to. Why does no one ever fucking listen to me? I tell you not to do something, then you fucking do it. But I got a bottle of I love Captain Morgan. I think everyone on the show knows I love Captain Morgan. So WK brought me a bottle of Captain Morgan, and I loved it because he handed me the bag, and like the idiot that I am, I'm feeling the bag. I look at him, I go, Captain Morgan Private Stock. He's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, I drink too much rum. Not gonna lie to you. But I thought that was, and I got another gift from James Williams, and like I said, I just love going out there. I love meeting people. We're probably going to end up doing another live from a location, a bar, or a restaurant up near the stadium this year as well. So we're probably going to try to plan that earlier this year. But we'll do like we did with the Shannon Rose in Clifton, New Jersey. We'll go to the bar. We'll live stream from the bar, which was great. So I think we're going to do that again this year. Slider says, Tim, again, certain content creators like Chode Sports bitch about the schedule and say the stupid shit like the NFL is trying to mess us up. Listen, if you listen to people like Chode Sports to get your information, I feel bad for you. Because they're normally wrong like 110% of the time. They always jokingly say, you got to give 100%, 110% effort. And someone always says, well, you can only really, mathematically, you can only give 100%. No, Chode Sports can be wrong 110% of the time. Just throwing that out there. I thought he was dead. That's Jaxson Dart. We got to meet Phil Simms, Carl Banks, and Bob Papa yesterday. Phil's a really nice person, and Bob Papa is standoffish. Phil is really nice, and Carl and Bob is really. So I always thought Carl was a nice guy. Maybe Carl was just having a day. I always thought Carl was nice. Carl has never been anything but a gentleman to me. So I can never say anything negative about Carl Banks. Now you want to talk about Bob Papa? He's a dick. We even have the dance. Don't you love it when I call you Bob Papa? I'm just joking. Bob Papa won't give me the time of day, so I can't tell you if he's a dick. Let's see here. First 1,000 get trading cards. If they get Willis, you have to get them to sign. I have an autographed Malik Willis card. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know the first 100 get trading cards. I didn't know that. I am getting the VIP tour with the Dolphins on Thursday. And I love when the guy's like, we'll take you down to the locker room, take you down to the field. I'm like, all right. No, I always laugh when people are nice to you. It's like, what do you want from me? But it's going to be, listen, I'm excited. I'm more excited, I think, and not just because it's Malik Willis and the Miami Dolphins, but I'm more excited about going to see this joint practice on Thursday than anything else. Because of the fact that, like I said, years ago, we got to go back years ago, but that 2-day joint practice with Cleveland under Joe Judge really set the tone for the entire season for the team. And so did that preseason game. So I'm very excited to see them. Let's see here. Douglas says, how long time? No, hey, Douglas, what's up, brother? Did you see and feel about Dart's tiny outing?
That's what she said.
I can't judge it. I guess I'm unlike other people that I can't judge it. He looked good some plays. Almost every pass play was out of the shotgun. As soon as he went under center, you knew it was a run. But it's preseason. They're not going to show you anything. His footwork before the game started looked excellent, looked good. We showed the stills. It all kind of went to shit after the game started. But I think that was more having to do with the plays that were called and the defenses and everything going on. So I really cannot fully judge everything that's going on right now. The game plan against Dart was amazing. Dart looked like he.
Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
Let's see here. That's how many Giant fans flip-flop their opinions when we all have our starters playing. You're 100% right. Captain Morgan, great for holidays. Eggnog, Tim. Captain Morgan's great for everything. Captain Morgan, I have a lot of like vintage advertising in my house. And Bud Light during the Super Bowl season in 2007 made these Bud Light statues. And they're about, I don't know, they're about 3.5, 4 feet tall. And they're of guys of Phil, the Bud Light guy. And he's serving beer. And they made a giant one and they made a Patriot one. I have the Patriot one. I haven't found the giant one yet. But there was one day I was looking at things and they had a life-size Captain Morgan doing the whole foot thing on the barrel. I was like, I need that for the basement. I need that for the man cave. Well, I guess the life-size Bigfoot and the skeleton, the animatronic skeleton bartender was enough for the wife. I don't know why. I guess the giant cat, and I also have the life-size cutout of John Wayne. But I always wanted the Captain Morgan one. But I understand where she's coming from. Well done. Gotta run some Spy Smasher. Keep the faith, ever. We're going to stream tomorrow, Snowing. We'll see you then as well. Note to Bleav, the show is better than Manicast. I didn't know what Manicast is. Hey, listen, I can't say I'm a featured show on Bleav. Go on their website. Look under feature. Go to Bleav.com. Watch me tell you this now. Why don't you tell me this now? And you hit that. You go on Bleav.com. Watch. I'm not a featured show anymore. I'm not a featured show anymore. And you scroll down and you see Bleav in Giants. There's New York Giants Straight Talk right next to them under featured shows. And I love it because someone sent me like a little article about our show, about New York Giants Straight Talk. And I don't know if this, I don't know, Bleav believes this, but we were listed as one of their flagship NFL shows. So that's to Bleav. Let's see here. This is that is the fan giveaway. It's probably not necessarily Malik Willis. I'm going to get there early. I got to bring a whole bunch of water, but I'm going to get there early. Giants the run defense looked porous, but again, like I said, Zag Attack, it was only, what are we talking about, 7 to 12 plays? So I'm not going to get concerned yet. And also, Brian Burns and Tremaine Edmonds didn't play. So I'm not going to get crazy. What got you concerned about the Giants? Well, Max, I'm going to tell you what got me concerned about the Giants was the skirt steak was not as good as the prime rib in the Coaches Club, and the mac and cheese. They did a 3-cheese mac and cheese this year, but it was limited on the mac and cheese noodles. Oh, in the game, it's preseason. Nothing. You saw the starters for the first quarter. You didn't see a lot of your defensive starters. Jaxson Dart still, to me, is indecisive at times. We played a bunch of videos in the beginning on plays he probably should have checked out of. But it's a learning process. His footwork looked good in practice. But what really did concern me was every time he lined up under center, it was a run. That's kind of a Kyler Murray thing. But even Kyler Murray threw under center. I don't want to say those are things that concern me, but those are things that give me pause. WK says, Tim, fantastic show. As always, time for lunch. One last time, I got to say thank you again for this for Saturday. I won't forget. Well, I appreciate you, brother. And I appreciate you coming out, and I appreciate you and the wife doing the thing you do. And I'm glad she got to go to her first NFL game. Jersey guy says, in my youth, I dated a Cuban girl from Union City. The eggnog and her family were fantastic. Some good times. The rum is always there. Jay Fed says, Zag Attack's run defense wasn't great, but only a couple starters didn't play. Well earned, Tim. Thank you, Jersey guy. Zag says, Denard Wilson looks so pissed that Denard Wilson, I will tell you this, did not look enthused at times on the sideline. But listen, you got to give a big shout out to Jack Kelly. You know, he looked like an NFL player at times against the Home Depots. I think we're going to see a lot of Jason Pinnock at the starting safety position. Colton Hood had his moments. First quarter, he overran a play. He overran a pass play, which was reviewed, and it was a catch. But he overran the play. He over-pursued the play. But that's, like I said, that's just rookie. That's fucking rookie excitement going into preseason. So I have no problem with that. He looked good. He looked good at times. Darius Alexander had the sack, but he was also on the field when they gave up the 2 big runs. Micah McFadden, it was nice to see him on the field, but he did have a big whiff as usual. But like I said, I'm not going to get upset with Micah. When you have a 12.9% career missed tackle percentage, when you miss on a tackle, I'm not going to be upset. Good to see Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese looked good. He looked solid. He looked quick. He flowed to the ball well. I would like to see him make tackles closer to the line of scrimmage instead of 6-7 yards down the field. But again, that's more dictated towards the play. Did not see any pertinent rush out of either Abdul Carter or Kayvon Thibodeau. But like I said, you can't judge people on 12 plays. Let me see what the joint practice looks like. But nothing was really bothering me. Oh, DJ Reader also didn't play, so I can't tell you if they're going to miss him. But DJ Reader also didn't play. That's something we didn't talk about. You're right. There was 14 penalties. Too many penalties. Got to clean the shit up. On both sides of the ball, it was too many penalties. I think there was a total of 7 for each team yesterday. I think the Giants had more yards. I think the Giants had more penalty yards. No, the Giants had less. They had 50. They had 45, 40, 49. I think both teams needed to clean up the penalties, but Giants definitely needed to clean up the penalties a little bit. Denard Wilson was pissed, especially when Banks made foolish penalties. There was some Banks. Listen, I'm not going to say anything about Banks yet because Banks is a resurrection project, but Banks is Banks outside of the kickoff. He didn't do himself any favors yesterday. How we only had 66 likes? Shouldn't we be at 166? Get to 70 likes, people. One more like. Come on. The Jet game will be a test to see where they end. Oh, the Jet. They're not going to play anyone in the Jet game. Zach. That's the last preseason game. Miami's going to be the game. You don't play your starters into the end of the second quarter. I don't know what John Harbaugh's thinking, because you need to get Jaxson Dart some reps. Listen, I like at times what I see from the kid, but this motherfucker needs some reps. He needs game. This was the biggest, I think, hindrance to Daniel Jones, besides his lack of talent, was the fact that he barely ever played in preseason. He barely saw any live action outside of training camp before he got into that first season game. Remember when Shane said that Darius Alexander said we like him because of his pass rushing, and that's what Darius Alexander is. Greg says, I'm headed out. So Tim, thanks. Great show as always. Chill. And when people chill, it's preseason. Go Giants. Agree with you 100%, Greg. 1,000%. I have a bone to pick with the NFL. What's your bone to pick with the NFL? Stop putting Giants on prime. Now that primetime jinx is gone. Dex can't get his shit in Cincinnati. Good luck. He didn't look like shit. He looks a little big this year. Well, he had 70. All right. Danny Dimes. Like I said, the only thing that held back Danny Dimes, I think, from the Giants' success was lack of talent and his inability to get into preseason games. Hey-o. Joe Shane forgot the job players. He could run. Joe Shane is horrible. All right, guys. I appreciate everyone. We got our 2 hours in. We're going to stream tomorrow, I Bleav, at 11. We're going to do a little bit more of a in-depth breakdown of what's going to go on in Miami, what we're going to look at. We're going to see what the coach has to say tomorrow during his press conference. But I think we're going to still do the show we're going to go back to either the 11:30 time slot. I haven't decided yet, but we're going to figure. Blackbird, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? Where you go? Why are you coming in at the end of the show? The fuck, man? But it's going to be in the afternoon, the stream, because I got other things to do, and I got to get ready for Miami because I'm leaving on Wednesday. I also got to get the equipment ready because we're going to do some live streaming and stuff like that. But I'm watching. I love Big Dash. But he's got to post that. You got to make the tackle, especially when you're the focal point for their defense. You has been stopping the run. You make this play, and my mood changes. Very first play of the game. And it's McFadden missing the tackle. Listen, I love you, Dash. I fucking love you, brother. But it's preseason. It's the first game. It's the first play of the game. My mood was exactly the same from that play to the last play, because until it counts, until that stat equals something, and McFadden's not going to be a starter. So I just wish everyone would relax. Have a beer. Don't cost nothing. Do what you got to do. You know what? Just kind of go from there. It's a screen. What? It's a screen. Everything you are saying isn't making sense. Well, that's okay. It's a screen. What are you talking about? Whatever. People are fucking stupid. It's a guy I banned. That's why. That's all right. That's all good. People, everything you're saying is not making sense. I was only there. I'm sorry. I was only sitting in the stands. What do I know? I'm a big dummy. McFadden's blitzes are going to pass the play. It's fine. Listen, it's all right, brother. I just woke up. I made it back home in time yesterday. Listen, guys, it is what it is. It's fucking preseason. For all these people that are getting so demonstrative about preseason, I'm going to send you a quarter. Go buy a life. It's preseason. A lot of these guys aren't even going to be here. These guys aren't even going to be here. And these people are all like, you got this wrong, got that. I was there. Sorry. I was sitting in the stands. I was on the field. Well, that's okay. What do I know? That's what I love. That's what I love with people. I was just there. So yeah. I don't know what else to tell people. I just think it's hilarious. I truly just find people, because there are just some Giant fans that just want to argue and be right and tell you that the Giants are the greatest team since sliced bread and everything they do is nothing that could be wrong. And how dare you have a difference of opinion, even though you were sitting right there? How dare you be that way because of the fact that you are just, you are just, I always love it. You are just not a fan. You are not a fan. Yeah. Okay. I only talk to people in the NFL, have people on that cover the NFL, go through all this stuff. And, I have the honor and the privilege to do things that a lot of people, and I know this for a fact, and I'm very appreciative of this. I get to do things that a lot of people don't get to do. I get to see things that a lot of people don't get to see. And people will sit there and tell you, well, my view from my television is so much better. Okay. You can think that, and that's literally fine. I have no problem with that. And you like me, you are entitled to have your opinion. But when you are going to sit there and try to tell me things when I was literally standing right there and sitting right there and being a part of all of it, I sorry, I can't I can't sit there and tell you you're not stupid. And I wish that was the case. And like I said, I know I'm honored to get to do things. I know that I'm honored to get to do things that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to do. I know that. But, and we're going to wait a second. This is me. Okay. This is where I'm standing. When you're talking to me about the television and all the things that I didn't see and all the things that I didn't miss and that's literally where I'm standing, So, and that's why I crack up with people because they're like, well, you don't know anything. You don't see anything. You're not there. No, I'm literally right there. I'm right there on the sidelines. I'm literally right there seeing people. But it's okay that people are going to be like, well, you don't know anything. So it's fine. It's fine. I just laugh at people because of the fact that it really isn't. It's just people. And I get it. It's just people that want to be, upset about something. And if you're not, and listen, I get the same way. If you're not their favorite content creator, if you're not their this or that, you don't like people. But then again, this is where I'm standing. This is where I'm watching the game. Fire all the coaches. You're right. Don't care how big your TV is. There's a big difference when you're watching the game. Oh, go OLED. Living the good life. And I know I'm honored. I know I'm privileged. I get it. It's nothing to do with white privilege. I'm fan privileged. I get to see this firsthand. I get to be places that other people don't get to go. I get to see things. I'm going to be in the locker room in Miami on Thursday. I get to do things. I get to, like I said, I get to stand right here. This is where I get to stand. But you're always going to have people who are going to be like, well, you don't know anything. Just live to my brother here. Just live the good life. Be the best you can be. Just remember that. We're going to have our show tomorrow, so make sure everyone stays tuned from that. This is Tim, this is your Giant Straight Talk, brought to you by the mighty FanDuel. It's FanDuel.com, the number one sports book in America. We fired the coaches already? Yeah, we fired the coaches already. They all sucked. According to a certain segment of the fan base, everyone's terrible. We should just get rid of everybody. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my coffee. I'm going to go hang outside with the wife. I'm going to go see the kids. And then I'm going to come back and stream tomorrow. And then I won't see you till Wednesday or Thursday, but we'll definitely have a show after the joint practice on Thursday. That'll be a Thursday evening show. And we're going to kind of go from there. So everyone, you know what? Have yourself a good weekend. Hit the like button on the way out. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, brought to you by the Mighty FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com, number one sportsbook in America. And I'm out.
That motherfucker must have lost his goddamn mind.